In this session, you will see how to use AI tools to create high-quality product images and videos quickly and in an affordable way without using an expensive studio. Our guest today is Joanna Lambadieva, and before we start with her session, I would like to ask Augustus to introduce the sponsors of Sellerfest Online.
Thank you, Lisette. So let me introduce the sponsors of this session. The first one is VAA Philippines, provides trained e-commerce virtual assistants for Amazon, Walmart, and other e-commerce sellers. DataHawk is an enterprise-grade analytics for Amazon and Walmart sellers. VATAi is an international compliance for e-commerce sellers. They provide VAT compliance, EPR services, and much more. MerchJar is your AI copilot for Amazon advertising. Optimal AI by Sellerplex is your Amazon advertising analyst. Ecomc, it's your global Amazon, Walmart, and TikTok growth expert. And last but not least, Exit.io. It's a platform for Amazon FBA buyers, sellers, and investors.
And now I'm excited to bring Joe on stage with me. Hi, how are you doing? Great to have you here.
I'm super excited to be part of this awesome fest. I was speaking last year and it was great, and I'm excited to do another one.
Awesome. So Joe, before we start with your session, which is definitely full of very useful tips for Amazon sellers, let's first start with your introduction. So can you give us a short overview? What are you doing in Amazon space, and how do you usually work together with Amazon sellers?
Yeah, sure. So I mostly, my focus is on essentially helping sellers improve their processes using AI. So it's all about making processes more efficient, more scalable, and essentially empowering teams to be more AI proficient. So a lot of what I do as well is training. So that's kind of my focus, but I'll talk about this in a second.
Perfect. Sounds really good. Before we start, I just wanted to highlight one thing for viewers tuning in live. Anytime during the session, when you have questions for Joe, drop them in the chat, because once she's finishing presenting, she's happy to answer all of the questions you have. If you also find the session useful and you're learning something new, hit the like button below the video to show support to us and also to her. And I would also recommend to subscribe to Orange Klik YouTube channel to see similar videos in the future, which will help you to stay ahead of your competition and be up to date with everything Amazon sellers need to know to run your business in a successful way. And now I think Joe is ready to share her screen with us, so we can also pull up the presentation and start learning from you.
Let's do this. Right. So Lisette, you're going to have to help me and tell me if you can see my screen and if the slide is moving.
Everything is perfect.
Sweet ass. All right. So yes, you are absolutely encouraged to ask me questions as long as they are not too difficult, because I can't sweat in front of camera live on YouTube. Like, that would be too much pressure. I'm just joking. You can absolutely ask me tricky questions. I'll try my best. So without further ado, Lisette didn't try to pronounce my surname, which is a very good tactic. But for anyone that has seen me speak before, my name is Joe Lambadieva. I am the founder of Amazing Wave. And actually, as a lot of people also know me, I am the writer behind the AI for e-commerce newsletter, which right now is read by more than 48,000 people, which is a very abstract thing. And I'm super grateful for all the readers. It's very good. I might be a little bit biased, but I truly, truly pour my heart and soul into this newsletter. So if you want to check it out and learn about how to use AI in e-commerce and what's actually coming up in the industry, scan the beautiful QR code at the screen. Have you scanned it? Good. All right. So I never assume that I should waste anyone's time. So I want to first start by basically telling you a little bit about why we should spend this 40 minutes or so together. So I really geek out about AI in e-commerce. So for the last 2 years, I have been, basically banging on about AI in e-commerce on the daily. So much that I started, obviously, the newsletter that I have been writing 3 times a week. So it's a lot of work. And as a result, I have written more than 300 issues to date, which, anyone knowing me is should be impressed, because I'm not that consistent with anything. But with this newsletter, I am. And as a result, because of the content and because of my persistency, it's grown a lot. On the other side, I'm also very, very passionate about education. I believe that everyone should know how to use AI. I feel like it's not just the future, but it will redefine our lives and how we do everything in our world. So I share tons of free resources, and like I've shared more than 50 SOPs to date on LinkedIn, and seemingly people like them because also this is actually quite old. Now I'm at 47,000 and a half. Yay, more people. But the point is that like I really am passionate and I feel like it resonates with people, and therefore a lot of people actually rate my content and come back. So you could see this last 4 slides as a humble brag, which probably is. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, but I just wanted to like kind of set the scene that I am a total nerd, like, you know, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud that I am genuinely interested and I research a lot about AI and e-commerce. So that is why you might want to spend the next 40 minutes listening to me jabber at you. Hopefully you find it useful. So the other reason why I wanted to like do this intro is because I read tons and tons and tons about essentially what is happening in our industry, how things are moving, how consumers are changing their behavior, how platforms are changing. And so it's really important to understand that in 2025, we're not in the year of hacks anymore. And we actually, before I've spoken to you, you already know that actually the buyer's journey is much more complex than it ever has been. And so if you're an Amazon seller, you also not just have to think about, okay, so how to do my foundations on Amazon, but also to think about the future. And the future for me, a lot of it like leverages AI for creating creative assets. And I think it's a really huge opportunity for Amazon sellers. We'll talk about like, you know, the role of human in this process. But I just think that there has never been a better time to like use technology to make your visual identity, your brand, your pictures like better and more tailored to your customer. And now today, I want to talk to you about that. So today I'm going to talk about 4 main things that I am seeing that are changing, that are actually opportunities for all sellers. The first thing is I'm seeing that competitive creative intelligence will become a foundation to a lot of things. And you'll see what I mean. Second is, I think AI video is already a kid's play or is definitely becoming a kid's play, which is awesome because beforehand, like smaller sellers could never afford to actually have a video. I'm also seeing AI UGC, or what is called UGC. Obviously, it's not a user-generated content, but AI UGC style content is becoming seamless. And I also think that like AI is going to help us iterate creatives really fast, and that will make us learn much faster and therefore become better. So let's break it down. All right. So competitive intelligence becomes your foundation. So what is amazing right now is that I'm seeing a wealth of tools that are tapping into like libraries of creatives and are allowing you to spy essentially on your competitors, which is really, really powerful. So here, for example, is a page where I can see tons of information about Ritual and their like creatives on Instagram. I can see what they're running in terms of formats, like whether it's video, image, carousel. I can see the actual split in terms of number of ads. I can see which are the main like actual customer personas they're talking to. Like what are the top ad angles? What are the top USPs that are pushing forward? What are the top desires, and so forth and so on. So like tons and tons of like really helpful information to inform your creative strategy or just even your wider strategy. You can also see their best performing copies, their headlines, and with that actually infer, okay, so which is like, you know, the message that works best for them. And in a way, actually perhaps inform your strategy about messaging. And like, if you want to ramp it up even further, you can download this data and use that to inform actually with using AI, like how you write your own creative angles. And further, you can also look at where they are driving the most amount of like essentially people by looking at the percentage of ads and reverse engineer the strategy. So you can see, all right, so like actually they're one of their main products that right now they are pushing to is the Hyggsfield for skin hydration, but they are also pushing a lot of people to their quiz. So this is interesting because it just tells you like, you know, how they are building up their funnel. So again, like really, really useful competitive intelligence to inform what you're doing. And what I find really amazing, and this, by the way, like, you know, in this demo is actually the demo that I'm going to show you is not even that impressive, but like this is getting even better, is that you can actually clone their ads. Now, again, this is, it's really important to bear in mind is that like just cloning an ad from a competitor may not be the right thing for you to do, but it can lead you to maybe new fresh ideas or angles in terms of how you can position your product. So like, you know, I'm not saying rip off your competitors, but you can use this to ideate. And so the tool that I'm showing right now, but there's various options, but the tool that I'm showing right now is called tryatria.com. The process is really simple. You can go and you find one of the creatives that you like in terms of visuals. You simply like click on the clone ad button, and then Atria is quite smart because you can literally just put in your brand URL, and then it will basically like go onto your website and strip off all of the information that is important from you know, what is the product service description, what is the target audience, but you can fill that all of that in. So like you can do this pretty quickly. In addition, you can specify like the actual brief for the creative. So you can add additional context. You can say, you know, like you can upload images. So like with your product, maybe with your models. And then Atria then like kind of recreates that ad with your branding, with your product in like front and center. Again, like, you know, if you look at the actual results, they're not super impressive, but I feel like now with Nano Banana, this will be even better. And what I think is important is, again, this is a tool for like more strategizing rather than like immediate creative rollout, because, you know, or probably there is a room for actual creative rollout, but you need to spend some like time to like really get the right assets, the right brief. But it is definitely a powerful tool you should test. All right, so the other stuff that, the other sort of like opportunity to use your competitors as like intelligence is by essentially downloading their downloading their creatives and then using AI to analyze them. And in order to download this, you can use a tool called GenSpark, which, by the way, is amazing tool. You should check it out. It's one of my favorite AI tools, and I have tested many AI tools, and this is one of the best I've ever seen. They have a, like, I'm going to show you a demo in a second, but they have essentially a function called download for me, which I'm going to show you now.
Introduce the world's first full agentic download agent, GenSpark AI Drive. Simply download any files with one prompt. Let's start with images. Download 20 dog images from copyright-free websites. Watch what happens. GenSpark download agent searches for the perfect images from Pixabay and Unsplash. Creates a dedicated folder, downloads all 20 at once. Then enter AI Drive. Click on the folder. Only one prompt. All images downloaded. Next, PDF downloads. This LinkedIn article features top AI papers of the week. It covers 10 research papers. Collecting them all manually? Not anymore. Download all papers mentioned in this LinkedIn link. One prompt. GenSpark reads the LinkedIn post, searches all papers, creates a folder called Papers, downloads one by one into AI Drive. Only one prompt, all your research, instantly organized, so convenient. What about videos? Just say, download these GenSpark's TikTok videos. Done in seconds. Only one prompt, your content instantly ready.
So yeah, you basically get the gist. Like again, you know, this is not to rip off anyone's content. This is to use it purely to for the purposes of analyzing. So like here, I've looked at a sewing video from a TikTok creator. I've downloaded it, and then now when I have it download, I can then further essentially like go transcribe it and use like Google Studio to actually analyze what exactly is happening on the video and get insights from that. Now, one thing that before I go into the next section is I recorded a really cool video tutorial as part of the paid package with Orange Klik, and that specifically talks about how to use Pinterest to inform like image creative decisions by analyzing Pinterest images. So this really, with what I was just talking right now, this like lines up really neatly, because you can use GenSpark to do that part, and then like use Pinterest and other image platforms to get the insight, and then use the prompts that I have outlined in the tutorial to get insight and then inform your image generation. All right, so now next section, AI video becomes a kids play. I want to show you a video done by my friend Sim Mahon, who is amazing at like doing AI stuff. And I love this video because it's very funny, but it's all done with Google VO3.
Britain, it's your boy Bigfoot here. Today I'm going to show you how to make a deer and oak chopping board that's harder than my morning wood. Tools, please. I've been snapping trees since Michael Jackson was black. My dear friend Jeff, a bit annoying, but lovable. Oil it up real good. I'm like a hairy Nigella, aren't I?
So anyway, this is a brilliant video, and you can see actually in this video is his actual bamboo board that he sells. So we've come really long way in terms of being able to create professional style videos and video ads with AI. And so VO3 is an amazing opportunity, and I would really encourage people to like get a subscription and start playing around with it. But VO3 is also a tool that requires some investment because it's not cheap, and it also requires somewhat of a steep learning curve. So, you know, really encouraging, go check this out. But if, you know, we are to get out of this 40 minutes, our maximum amount of impact in terms of learning, what I want to show you today is a sort of like a lighter version of this, of essentially creating videos for your ads, for, you know, platforms and so forth. And that kind of works in seconds. So I want to show you how I basically from this image created this snippet, or from this UGC style image, which by the way is also AI generated. I created this kind of little, you know, snippet, or how I have created from this Amazon image, this like little, I guess, animated version. And obviously you can imagine how many like use cases. By the way, Viva Naturals, I use you for some reason for all of my tutorials. So if you ever want to chat, give me a ring. All right, so how did I do all of that? So do you guys remember Midjourney? It was really sexy about a year ago, and then all of a sudden everybody was like, oh my God, ChatGPT for all. This is all we need. Well, Midjourney is not dead, and actually it's an amazing platform, and everybody should test and play with it. What Midjourney does is now offers to create this flawless video animation, which, you know, you can see the truthfulness or like the accuracy of the product is not ruined in the video. And it's really simple process. So like you would basically upload an image, like here, the Vita Naturals Amazon image. You put that into the starting frame. And then once, like, you know, you have two options. Like you can either leave the prompt blank, so you can see how Midjourney basically interprets your image and decides how to like essentially create a motion out of it, or you can describe a very simple movement. Now, I would generally recommend that you don't go really crazy. I mean, this is, after all, I think like 4 or 5 second video. So the less like complexity there is, the more likely is that nothing weird is going to happen. So you wanna keep it simple. And the best way to then like take it as to a next step is to then take that mini video and then use something like Canva to start to like kind of piece them together into like one cohesive video. But it could work, and it will be much cheaper version of what you need to do versus, let's say, shooting it with a person or even using VO3. So here is like how it will look. It will always give you 4 different versions. So you can see like you also have a choice of what looks like the most natural way that this like essentially comes out. All right. Now I want to talk about essentially how like another way to like create a lot of video content is, let's say you have like a long form video that you have shot. Like that could be like an ad, or it can be your influencer has been shooting something and you want to create essentially smaller videos and create much more content like that. So again, here, by the way, I haven't been sponsored at all by GenSpark. I just love them so much. But I want to show you a demo of what one of their functions called Clip Genius.
True. All right, there.
How many people have you slept with?
Truth or dare, or AI clips all highlights with one prompt. From GenSpark. Editing videos can be super time consuming and difficult for a lot of us. That's why we're excited to introduce GenSpark Clip Genius. It can edit any video for you with just one prompt. Let's try it. Choose single clip. Cut the funniest moments from this Jimmy Fallon show. GenSpark understands the whole video, builds the story, then finds the clips and weaves them into a seamless new video.
You lay flat on the desk and then interview me the rest of the time like that.
Now let's try grid layout. Get highlights from All In Podcast's AI Bubble episode. Clip Genius understands this hour-plus podcast and pulls 9 clips, creating a perfect grid. Key insights in minutes.
On Monday, Fortune dug up the generative AI study. Does this align with what you're seeing on the field?
Last week or so, there was a correction in sentiment.
So anyway, you kind of get the gist. Like it can definitely improve the speed with which you create and repurpose videos, and so you don't have to constantly recreate like videos, but you can use something like that to like repurpose them and create like much more content. All right, now I think this is trend number 3. All right, so this is AI UGC becomes seamless. So there is a platform that I've seen come out in the last, I would say, 3 months, which is super impressive. They have just focused on honing in on sort of creating like kind of UGC and also ad suitable creative. And for example, one of the tools that they have is basically a tool that helps you create an influence, like an influencer or an influencer style content out of anything. So you're going to check it out.
This picture is nice. Not quite my style.
Is it possible to drag and drop?
So the point is that here you can actually, let's say you like want to create a social media profile for yourself, or you want to create like let's say a new influencer out of someone. Like you can find images that you like and then use yours or someone else's likeness and create a like really stylized version of images. But the other thing that I find super impressive is this kind of like product positioning in sort of AI UGC style videos.
Nowadays, it's easy to sell something. Easy to tell something.
Easy to share your important opinions.
And sell again! And sell again!
Or tell everyone about your business.
The whole world can hear it.
Worth saying, you can do it yourself.
Open Higgsfield Soul to create a photorealistic scene choosing one of the presets. Then integrate your product using Higgsfield Canvas. The last step is our UGC builder powered by VO3. Type in desired actions and phrases. Choose voice type and emotion and add some background sounds.
I told you. It's easy.
Yeah, splatter that cream on that face. But yeah, so the platform that I use, or like that I talked about, is called Higgsfield, and I actually really saw recently that they were even like Meta attempted to buy them. It's growing really fast. It's really impressive what they've done. And so, you know, as a good AI geek, I tested them to see if the demo is as good as it seems. So I went to like their create function, like the create menu. You go to UGC, you do select a movement preset. Like, so for example, here I selected selling. And then I actually uploaded an AI generated image that I had created with ChatGPT. So it's super simple. And then I have described a really simple action. So a friendly, natural UGC video of the woman in the image holding the Yonka toner bottle close to her face. She smiles warmly, natural daylight, soft background sounds, authentic tone, relaxed and genuine facial expression. So this is kind of like the action. And then I've just kept it simple. So like audio text is, I've been using this Yonka toner every day and my skin has never felt so fresh and hydrating. I'm obsessed. All right, let's see if it works. Well, it will work, obviously. That's why it's in the presentation. But
I've been using this Yonka toner every day and my skin has never felt so fresh and hydrated. I'm obsessed.
So as you can see, it's pretty damn realistic. I mean, and just think about it. This is like, you know, this is something that is done in like August, September 2025. Now imagine in like a few months, it's going to be really, really, really seamless. It's pretty scary, to be fair, but also an awesome opportunity. All right. So I think the last section that I want to talk to you about, the last opportunities around fast creative iteration. And I think, again, AI is right now not perfect. It's not flawless. But it is getting there very, very fast. But even if it's not like perfect or flawless right now, one of the most underappreciated opportunities that it actually offers is on iteration and testing really fast. The fact is that you may not always need a perfect creative to test a hypothesis, and this is the sort of the thing that underpins like really successful brands. It's like, how quickly can they learn what resonates with their audience? Like, what is the hook that resonates? What is the like type of model that they use? Like, what is the visual hook that they use? Like the positioning of the product, the context. You know, there is so many different like relevant hypotheses that you can build and then test. And then the more you test, the more you gather that data, the more you can like refine it and get like better and better and better. But the point is, the faster you know, there's the adage, which is the faster you fail, the better, because in essence, you learn super fast. So AI creative is like your superpower to do this. It basically allows you to be scrappy, create a lot of different hypotheses, which are okay, and test them. And so one of the things that I like, basically everybody who has been following me, I recently was sharing this tool, which I think most people were talking about because it's amazing. But I want to show you what you can do with it. So although I'm a very techie person and, you know, it's counterintuitive, I have an old shitty iPhone 12. I kid you not, you can see this. This is my iPhone 12 with a very geeky code for my newsletter. Hey, subscribe. But anyway, so I don't have a fancy camera. And this picture, as you can see with my slightly chipped nail polish, is taken last week. So I want to show you what you can do with like chipped nail polish and a shit iPhone 12 camera and a pic. So from this, I took it and improved my nail polish. Joking, this is not my hand, but improved and got this image. And then I got this image. So like basically it's kind of like almost like a 3D render style image. And then I got this image because I was like, why not prop that into Vogue? I mean, like, look at her necklace and look at that can. The point is that these are images that are pretty flipping perfect. I mean, you know, several months ago when ChatGPT 4.0 came out, and you know, it was still mind-blowing. Still, that the product like accuracy and the label accuracy weren't there. But with this, like, you are guaranteed that pretty much you're going to get a perfect, like, spot-on product. And you know, I'm not gonna like hide anymore which it is, because you probably have already heard of it. But this is Gemini 2.5 Flash, also called a Nano Banana. And yes, this banana crown that I have on my head is also done with Nano Banana. By the way, for people who go right now and vigorously type in Nano Banana in Google, do not click on the first link. That is a scam. The tool that you need to use is Gemini 2.5 Flash. Really important. It's really amazing. What a turnaround. I basically had completely discarded Google's AI products as garbage, but they had a massive comeback, and now this is one of my favorite platforms. So what do you do? So I want to share with you 5 tips for using Gemini 2.5 Nano Banana. There is much more, and like, you know, I share a lot of education and SOPs on that, but just 5 things that you might not have heard before, and will help you essentially get much better at using this and making really good images. The first thing to bear in mind is that this is an image editor, right? So, you know, I would say that when it comes to like creating a brand new image and having like a really beautiful sort of setting, the better platforms for that are ChatGPT or Midjourney. They're just much more creative. The way that they position the products, the way like they look are much better. But you want to use Gemini as kind of like the last step, where you really like kind of impart or implane your product in like kind of like perfect spec into the image. Second thing is, I mean, I showed you what is done with a shit iPhone 12. By the way, Apple, if you're watching this, I don't mind you sending me a new iPhone. So basically, if you have an actual good camera and you take a picture with a good camera or with a good iPhone, you will get like even better results. Generally, when it comes to including a product into the picture, I would say take a few pictures. So like take a close-up, a sort of a picture that like shows the actual what's it called? Basically how big it is versus other stuff like your hand. Take a picture of the label, anything that is funky. The more information you give it about the product, obviously the more accurate the whole thing will be. The other thing that I found is that it's really useful to create almost like little prompt formulas in terms of what you want to get. So like generally it works like what is the subject, what is the exact product spec, what is the action, what is the scene. So for example, like, you know, white ceramic mug, like 11 ounce close up on a wooden table, natural daylight. So like, you know, you don't want to be super specific. Like again, just going back to what I said in point 1, this is an image editor. The more specific you are about this particular part of the image, this particular, like, let's say face, or, you know, basically concreteness is the name of the game. Because what you see is that if you're a little bit vague, then it just doesn't listen and it doesn't do what you want it to do. Here actually really helps to understand a little bit about camera stuff. So, I mean, generally, that's why I say to creative people, this is a huge opportunity for anyone who is creative, whether it's a photographer or whether it's a graphic designer. These are the people who know, A, what would look good, B, how to describe it in words. Because trust me, if you are not a creative person, you would not really know very much what is the right, camera millimeter or like, the right setting, but a creative person would know. And so it's really helpful for you to like include some sort of the notifiers in your prompt around like, what is the specific light, camera, and technical detail. It's just going to create a much closer image to what you ideally want to get. And then the other thing that I also have found really useful is to ask for negative prompts. So basically, these are exclusions. So like AI is good at following prompts, but it's very good at like following prompts that like say, don't do that. So like, no logos, no hands, no reflections. That kind of, I feel like the large language model just finds it easier to understand versus include this, include that. And I have prepared like a nice little kind of like a 9-hack summary with actual prompts that you can check out. This is a QR code for that. Generally, I would really encourage you to type in my long ass surname into LinkedIn and give me a follow, because I post useful SOPs, not just about images, but anything to do with AI every week, several times a week. This is blatant self-promotion, but generally, as a friend, I do recommend, because I do give out a lot of useful content. Here I've just done a 1-pager cheat sheet just so that you guys can see like, the tools that I've used and also like how much it costs. Actually, it's a little more expensive, but it's also, I think it has a free demo, so you can guys sort of test it and see like if you find it useful. Higgsfield is actually quite cool, and I would say like, get yourself 1 month of that tested, because it could create a lot of really good content that you can use and or ideate with. And then obviously Midjourney and ChatGPT are cheap as chips and are kind of a no-brainer. If you don't have a ChatGPT subscription, please, it's 2025, it is time. This is the best $20 you can do for yourself and your business. All right, so it's been, enough time of me jabbering, like actually bang on 38 minutes. So I didn't even take my full 40 minutes. But if you have found any of what I was just talking about useful, you can whip out your much newer iPhone and scan the AI for e-commerce newsletter QR code, join a community of people who are very passionate about learning about AI. I seriously kid you not, it's a good newsletter. I basically am told that daily. And then I'm also starting a kind of a little community called Lamborghini AI community, which is going to be me sharing a lot of what I share on LinkedIn, in my newsletter, and sort of like having a sort of a more direct touch with me. So yeah, that is about it. And now I'm going to hand over to Lisette.
Perfect, Joe. Thank you so much. The presentation was indeed very interesting, and people are impressed about the examples you brought to us. So thank you very much for that. So now I would like to take a moment while people can still submit questions about how they could use AI for their images and also for videos. I would like to introduce the VIP package we put together for Sellerfest Online participants. So we asked experts to record additional expert sessions for you. It's 20 more sessions, which are not available anywhere else. They're only for you in this VIP package, and you're going to have lifetime access to them. So you could leverage more from their knowledge and experience. And as you can see, experts are constantly testing out different things themselves. So it's really the latest tips and tricks they are using themselves on a daily basis. And to make it even more valuable for you, we also decided to include 2 great bonuses for you. The first bonus is recordings from European Seller Conference 2024. So you're going to have access to all of the speaker sessions of the biggest physical event Klik organizes every year in Prague. So you're going to learn from the top experts in the Amazon industry. The second bonus material comes from Brandon Young. It's an exclusive masterclass about product discovery, validation, and AI design. This masterclass is usually sold for $500 and it includes about 30 different sessions. So imagine you're able to get all of this just when you opt in for the VIP package. And as I said, it has all of these other VIP recorded sessions as well, including one from Joe. So Joe, could you share a comment? You briefly mentioned it during your presentation as well, but what exactly are you teaching in the VIP lesson?
Sure. I think it's a non-miss because I am literally wearing a beret on a beach for the entire session. So even just for that is worth seeing. But the session is all about essentially how to know how to prompt AI, like large language models, without necessarily being like super creative person. So you know what I just talked about, how actually designers and photographers have almost like superpower when it comes to AI. This is, of course, this is again not going to replace a designer or a creative person, but it just shows you how to maybe extract some of the language that you need to use in order to prompt, and how to use like essentially competitive intelligence from Pinterest to inform better your kind of AI images.
Mm-hmm. All right, sounds really good. Thank you very much for going and sharing some insights about that. So let's now take one question we have. So it's more of I would say like a thing that many Amazon sellers might run into. So Carrie has a round Christmas ornament or different ornament products. Mm-hmm. And if she takes photo of each side of the design and kind of tries to stitch it together in a video, it kind of is not turning out right. So I think, Joe, you probably have experience with more difficult products as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, Carrie, I would say, you know, VO3 is sometimes tricky because it can't quite figure out, like sometimes it distorts the product. And that's just, yeah, especially the more unusual the shape is, the more unusual the design is, like the less VO3 and some of the other video generators know what to do with it. So generally, I would say try out the Midjourney approach. I mean, it's not a full-fledged video, but you can create like these like snippets, which by basically putting together in something like Canva should be able to create you a video. And then, yeah, I think it's just also about patience. I feel like we have just had the most insane leap in performance of AI when it comes to creative this year. And, you know, it's been only 6 months since that. So I just think that it's going to get very seamless in the next 6 months.
Mm-hmm. All right. Very good answer. Thank you very much for that. So let's take another question for you. So how to ensure brand consistency across a full catalog of images when using AI for creatives? Maybe you have a few suggestions to give.
Yeah, I think this is tricky. So like, I think it's really important to be able to extract and give references, as much as possible references to the large language model. So like, you know, if you have specific like brand color codes, like, you know, use the actual hex color codes into the brief or the prompt when it comes to the large language model. Also, I think, again, comes back to prompting. So, you know, one thing I'd say when it comes to prompting is a lot of people, you just write. I think this is okay. But if you translate your prompt into Markdown or even better in JSON format, then the large language model will probably follow closer. So what you want is to like create almost like an overview formula which you feed that like gives you like basically gives the model the context around your brand, and then to like write that into the best possible format for the large language model to understand.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. Thank you very much for that. So one comment came back to Carrie. She's saying it's basically trying to make a flat image 3D. Very helpful. Thank you, Joe. So thanks for giving your advice. And then we have one question from us. So Do you have any tips on how to use follow-up prompts to perfect the ChatGPT images? Because sometimes we know the first version or outcome is not actually the one we kind of had in mind.
Yes, so this is my top tip, and I really hope that you're going to listen to me. Do not use any follow-up prompts to perfect the ChatGPT image. Just start again. That is just the truth, and that is actually the truth even to, like, when it comes to even using Nano Banana. The longer your chat is, the more there's going to be prompt drift and like hallucinations. So you want to basically just do, especially when it comes to ChatGPT, you want to use one shot. So like, you know, you upload your image, you give the prompt, it works, it doesn't, and then like, you know, you learn what doesn't work, and then maybe are much more specific with the next.
Very good. I think this advice is really good. So we just received one more question, so let me take that as well. So how do we do better with images, which includes text?
You do better by using Canva to insert the text.
So do you do it later?
Yeah, exactly. So reality is that, of course, large language models are going to include text, but once it includes text, it's part of the image. So you can't edit the text. Even if it's accurate, it might not be the right color, it might not be the right font, it might not be in the right position. You might want to just have the image clear and then like remove the text or change the text. So just do yourself the favor, like create the image and then just include the text later on, because it's just giving you much more opportunity.
Okay, very good. So Daniela is saying also thanks for the tip about ChatGPT and how to kind of follow up, or as you said, not follow up, but start a new conversation with it. So Joe, this session was very useful, I'm sure, for many Amazon sellers. And before we end, could you once more summarize shortly what are you doing and how do you usually help Amazon sellers?
Yeah, sure. So I focus on two areas. One is education. So I'm very passionate about helping teams become AI first, essentially develop AI first mindset. So I work with a lot of bigger sellers, with teams and agencies to help everyone learn how to use effectively AI in their day-to-day. And second is then how to look at basic processes and how to optimize them using AI, how to automate certain elements, how to make them more data-driven by using AI. So that's kind of in a nutshell.
Very nice. Thank you so much. Again, thank you for being here, and I hope to see you soon again on our channel.
Yeah, thank you, Lisette.
And now I would like to invite you to watch another video on our channel where you will learn about how you can fix your ACOS by using ChatGPT.